Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I have pretty much what I've been wearing this summer when I'm going to be outside. So this is my outdoor summer makeup look with SPF included. I think it's important to obviously wear SPF in the summer. I've really tried to be diligent about doing that this year. But a lot of times when we're going to be outside for a long period of time, we don't really want to wear a ton of heavy makeup. So this is my simplified summer look, the thing that I'm wearing when I'm going to be out and about. So I look really fresh, pulled together, but I am making sure that I'm protecting my face. I have some great products for you, some facial sunscreen, some products with sunscreen in them, and then just how to get this very light makeup look as well. So stay tuned and let's go ahead and get started. With today's look, I'm going to start off with an SPF. I have started using, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it because it's white, but it's the Australian Gold Botanicals facial sunscreen. And it is a tinted, but it's also matte. I think they have a non-matte version that I saw recently. I ordered mine off of Ulta's site, but I just saw it in, I think, Target. And I think they also have another version which is like an SPF 30. I did end up getting the SPF 50. I would consider maybe just going down to the 30, but I really like the matte version and that this one's tinted. And I don't remember, I feel like, I don't know, I just know that they have a couple, and so far it's really nice. It hasn't broken me out. I haven't noticed any flashback with it. If you're not into foundation, you can definitely just, wear this alone. I sometimes have been doing that on days when I just want to wear sunscreen. I'll kind of just put this on, brows, and then chapstick, and it works really well. I'm very impressed with this. I believe this was originally $15.99. I ended up getting it on sale. I think I got it for like $12.99. Ulta had it on sale for a while when they had their sunscreen. So again, I strongly recommend this. I think that this has been great. It's not greasy. It does say that it is hypoallergenic, dermatologist tested, fragrance-free, pediatrician tested, so you can definitely use this on your kids. Reef friendly, no animal testing, and phthalate free. So it's definitely one I would recommend picking up. I will probably continue to repurchase this. This is how much I liked it. Now, I then go and put the IT Cosmetics CC Creme foundation. I'm trying to remember what this is called. The IT Cosmetics CC Creme foundation over it. Before I started using facial sunscreens, I was using this when I was going to be outside in the summer. I have decided to continue to wear this because I figured at this point it probably doesn't hurt to just layer sunscreen, but on days when I'm not really going to be outside or I don't want to use this sunscreen, I sometimes will just use this, and then other times I'll just use that sunscreen under different foundations. So, but when I know I'm going to be outside for a really long time, I figure more is better than not enough, even though I'm sure it's probably about the same. In the IT Cosmetics foundation, I am in light, and I'm just going to use, this is actually the IT Cosmetics foundation brush. My only weird thing, let me grab a mirror. My only weird thing with the IT Cosmetics foundation is I kind of feel that it's got a really weird smell, and no one talks about the smell on this, but to me it reminds me of lemon pine sol. Am I crazy? Am I the only person who thinks that? I mean, maybe it's a possibility, but to me it just smells so much like lemon floor cleaner. Remember the first couple times I used it, I was like, I don't think I can handle the smell. I also love traveling with this. This is a great, I don't have to worry about it being broken. It's got a pump. And usually what I do is I just kind of like pat it around and then I blend it out. I definitely am really kind of re-loving the foundation brush. I kind of prefer it in the summer. I don't know why. I think because I use lighter foundations in the summer and I prefer a foundation brush with lighter foundations and stick foundations. And then I prefer a beauty blender, not a beauty blender, a makeup sponge with kind of heavier foundations. Mostly because I feel like it shears them out a little bit. I just do a little on my forehead. I do put a lot of this on. I don't know why I feel the need. Sometimes I put on less. Today I'm kind of going a little overboard with. Definitely could have got away with using less foundation, but I kind of forget when I do use a foundation brush that it goes a lot further. Now I have used these together. Again, I'm using that sunscreen pretty much like a primer. I don't really love having a primer in between these, and especially when I'm going to be outside and it's going to be hot, I don't really want all of those layers. So I don't do a primer. Kind of up to you. If I'm going to use a primer, I have come to the conclusion that because this is matte, I like the Touch in Sol No Problem primer on top of this and under this. That kind of works really well. Most of the time I don't really do that. I've only done that a handful of times just to kind of see how things have mixed. For the most part, because this does have a tint to it, I've just been using this as a primer and then this on top. And I don't really notice any breaking apart, and I'll show you with the rest of my stuff. I mean, I have worn this 8-ish hours. Do get some breaking apart on my chin because it is oilier, so the more I'm out in the sun, the more kind of that oil comes out, and I'll tell you what I do to correct that throughout the day. For the most part, everywhere else is pretty good. Obviously, if I continually touch my face like I do sometimes, especially when I'm hot, it will break apart in those areas, but I kind of figured that's my fault, not really this. So this does stay pretty well, so I'm pretty happy with this combination. Then I have the concealer. So I put concealer on areas that I need some concealing. Always my under eyes and then always my chin. Usually I'll do a little bit some other places too, but in the summer I don't really like anything heavy, and a lot of concealers can feel very thick and very heavy. I have tried the Naked Skin and I don't like it. The only one that I really like that is a lighter weight is the Maybelline Age Rewind. This is like a holy grail product, but I love this in the summer. This is probably my favorite summer concealer. I have the Dark Circle Corrector, which is in like brightener. I've used the neutralizer one too, but this one has a little more peach. The neutralizer one's a little more yellow. I prefer, I think, the peachy version. I've also tried the fair one. I think it's fair or like very fair, something like that, and I've used that one as well. I like them all interchangeably, but I think the brightener one is my favorite. And so I just put it on underneath my eyes. Definitely underneath my eyes, a little bit in the corner. I get a lot of breakouts. I don't know how well you're gonna see them on camera right now. So I always put some there, and I put some kind of on my nose because that's usually where my foundation breaks apart. And I'll just kind of highlight my forehead a bit. And then for under my eyes, I'm actually going to pat it out with my fingers. But I'm going to use a bit of the brush for the other part. And I just kind of go like this, meld it in a bit. Really just kind of get it all good. I just feel like this has been working well. I haven't really been using a makeup sponge a ton this summer. I've really been kind of using my fingers more, more brushes. It's basically also going to be my eye primer, so I'm using it. Not that I need an eye primer because I'm not really doing like an eye look. Because again, this is just what I'm doing. A lot of times when, this part I'll just, this is more of the look that I'm doing when I'm going to be outside for a long period of time. I really want to make sure my face is protected. And I'm not doing a full face. I'm not doing, you know, everything over the top. But I will tell you, you can kind of convert a lot of these products to doing that, and I will kind of explain as we go. I just find that, you know, this is kind of my quick summer, get ready, gonna be outside. I want to look pulled together, but I don't really want to look like over the top. Like, I don't want to look like I'm really wearing a ton of makeup, but I want to look nice and put together. So I do this a lot when I know I'm going to be outside for an extended period of time. So for example, we were just in Vegas and, you know, we're walking around on the Strip. It's very hot. We're in and out of hotels. And I don't want to just be, you know, kind of there. You know, I want to look nice. Like, I'm taking pictures in the hotel and seeing some stuff, and, you know, obviously I'm dressed in regular clothes, but I, again, just wanted to look nice. So this is a good time for that. Same thing, I've gone to other hot places, like walking around, you know, San Diego or even Chicago in the summer. This is good for that because, you know, it's just nice. I don't have to worry about, you know, my skin getting burnt, my face getting burnt. You know, it wears nicely. It's got enough of a sheen. Sorry, I'm getting the areas that I know will crease or get a little more oily. Oh, and I'm just using, you can use any, I'm just using a loose powder. I'm using the Dermablend, I forgot to tell you. Any loose powder works. You can even use a pressed powder if you'd prefer. I just am preferring the loose ones right now. I feel like they just feel a little bit lighter on my skin than the pressed ones. So again, I'm just going and setting any area that I think there's going to be some creasing. Sometimes if I'm feeling like a little tacky, and sometimes with the IT Cosmetics CC Cream Foundation, I do feel a little bit tacky. I will just take a big fluffy brush, hang on, I'll show you, like this one from e.l.f., and I'll just dip it in a bit and just kind of go over my whole face, especially because sometimes, today I'm wearing a black t-shirt, so it's a prime example, I worry about it spreading, like, or getting on my clothes. I do feel really tacky today, and I don't know why. Maybe my moisturizer. So it's just going to kind of give me a base. So that's just going to kind of give me a base, set everything down. You know, it feels really nice. It doesn't feel dry. It just feels very just slightly dewy. Sorry, I had like a hair and it was driving me crazy. I will say the matte sunscreen, it doesn't feel drying when it's on. I've worn just the sunscreen and my skin, it doesn't look overly shiny, but it doesn't look so matte that it looks dry. So that's part of the reason why sometimes I'll just wear it as is. The next thing I'm going to do is my brows. So I do my brows either way, again, going out. I know some people are really particular about brows. So let me grab my brow pencil and my mirror that just fell on the floor if you're wondering why the camera shook, because it bumped it. So I'm just going to go ahead and use my e.l.f. brow pencil. This is pretty much the one I always use. Most of the time this will stay put. I don't really worry about this moving in the sun. Obviously, if I touch my face a lot, yes, I will partially rub it off. But for the most part, it stays really well, and haven't really had a problem with it. If I do want to look a little more put together and really not worry about it, I will put the Essence Make Me Brow. I'll just brush that through and then kind of detail with this. But I don't do that too often. Sometimes. So yeah, let's just do the other one real quick. I don't know. It's finally starting to get hot here. Like, I say that as if that's a good thing. I'm not a big fan of hot weather. But because but it will be hot here in Illinois. pretty much through September. So we don't really get too hot in June. Sometimes we do, but it's not unbearable usually in June. And it was almost like we came back from Vegas. We went to Vegas the very last week the last week in June. And we came back June 29th. And while we were gone, it had just jumped up all of a sudden. And we're like, seriously, we just left 100-degree weather. We're going to come back. It's going to be like over 80 degrees, which is hot for us. My husband don't like hot. And I'm just like, really? And now it's pretty much been over 80 every day, which here in Illinois, it's manageably hot because some summers will get really hot. Usually we'll start getting our really hot days the end of July and then August. But sometimes in September, like the beginning of September around Labor Day, it will still be like 85 degrees. And I just feel like our summer is late, like it's later here. And it usually runs to like the end of June through like the beginning of September. More than it does, like we don't really get hot days at the end of May. Very rarely. So one of the things that I have been loving in the summer, I love this palette anyway, but it's the Smashbox, the Cali Contour palette. And I brought this with, I use it all the time. I adore it, absolutely adore it. This is great. If you have not seen this palette, they have a contour, a matte shade, which I don't use too often. Sometimes I'll just use it to set my eye or just kind of add a little bit of lightness to it because I have hooded eyes. It's got 2 highlighters, a blush, and then a bronzer. Mostly we're going to use the bronzer. I'm going to take a little bit of the contour and just kind of go up here a bit, and I just kind of do this to give myself just a little bit of definition. Not too much. This contour is a bit on the warm side, so if that's not your cup of tea, you may not like this. For the summer, I prefer a warmer contour. In the winter, I prefer a cooler one. I feel like I have a mix of both cool and warm tones in my skin, so I can kind of get away with anything. Oh, and then I'm just dipping into the bronzer now, just to get the top of my head. Just like that. And then a little bit along my nose. And I'm going to take a little bit just right here at the temple and then blend that in more. I go pretty bronzed up. Just because I feel like it looks a little summerier, a little nicer. And I'm just going to take some and go down my neck a bit. So if you really struggle with kind of that like makeup line, instead of blending my foundation all the way down, I kind of blend my bronzer into it. I just feel like it kind of leaves less of a line. It looks a little less, and my chest gets so pink anyway that it kind of takes some of the pink up, I guess. Just looking at it, make sure it looks okay. Alright, so the next I'm going to use the blush. Let me grab my blush brush. This blush is really pretty. Here, I'll swatch it for you so you can see. That was a terrible swatch. Let's try this again. So it's just like a nice mauve-y, kind of peachy shade. It has a slight, ever so slight sheen to it. It's nothing crazy. We're just gonna put a little bit of that on. Like hair. So I swear I'm shedding lately. I feel like I go through spurts where I just lose tons of hair all of a sudden. And this has been it, and I just feel like it's everywhere. Like it's on my face, it's just coming out. And so it's driving me crazy. Spent a lot of days this summer with my hair pulled up because it's just like everywhere. See, like I feel like I even have it in my lashes. Ah! And then my cat's the same way. My cat's shedding like crazy. It's just crazy. So the next thing I'm going to do though is I'm also going to use this palette to kind of give my eyes a little bit of definition, not too much. I'm going to take this cream shade again and I'm just going to gently pat it on my eyelid, just like so. Because I have hooded eyes, I try to bring as much brightness to them as I can. Then I'm just going to take a fluffy brush. So this is my Sigma brush. This is the Sigma E40. And I'm going to go into that bronzer shade, and then I'm just going to not all over the lid. I like to leave some of the lighter color. So this I'll just kind of blend into that lighter color and then blend a little bit just above my crease. Just like that. It's just going to warm up my eyes just a tad. Just to kind of give a little bit of something. Zhuzh it up a bit. I don't really do a lot of eye stuff. Depending on what I'm doing though, this is a good time where you could do a little more makeup. You know, you could do a full-on eye look with this. I did that one day because we were going somewhere kind of nice. We'd probably be taking like more pictures and stuff. So like that, I don't even remember what day it was. But like when we go downtown, if I'm like walking around going shopping on like the Mag Mile or anything like that, that's also a time like I'll, you know, might do a little bit more. Usually I just kind of do like a soft neutral brown look, maybe like a little shimmer, that kind of stuff. But I'm, again, never do anything crazy. So you can just kind of see just a little bit of definition in the eyes. Now we're going to go in and add my highlight. I use the lighter highlight shade in this. And I also like a glowier look for the summer. So I definitely like for the daytime a bronzed kind of glowy just sheen. So this is a really good palette for that because it does have a little bit of niceness. You can use, I mean, any palette that works for you that has a highlighter or contour, you can use it. Obviously, you can also use individual things as well. If I'm going to use individual products, I will use big proponent of either the Tarte Park Avenue Princess bronzer or the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer. I like either of those. I will use those. Blush wise, I really like Milani's Rosé de Orso, but that one's got a bit of a sheen. If you like more of a matte, kind of my summertime go-to blush is, right now I think it's the Burts Bees one in Toasted Cinnamon. The one Kathleen Lights always talks about. And then I will use for a highlighter, I'll use the Essence Pure Nude highlighter, or I will use one of my favorites, which I don't even think you can buy anymore, is the Pixi by Petra in Santorini Sunset. But I have not been able to find that, and that makes me really sad. I feel like I'm going overly bronzed or overly highlighted. So my next product is going to be mascara. You can pretty much use any mascara for this. My tip for you though is I like to use a waterproof mascara if I'm going to be outside, because if I'm sweaty, sometimes when I'm sweaty I have a tendency to wipe up my face, or if I like have my sunglasses, you know, I'll kind of like wipe my eye sometimes because like the edge will hit me. So I'm going to use the Falsies. This is the one I have in waterproof. So finally, the last thing I've been using is kind of a setting spray. It's the Ulta Broad Spectrum Matte Setting Spray, and this also has an SPF of 50. So I had to start asking the question, as I hear so many people talk about how important sunscreen is to wear even every day. And I was like, well, in the summer, if I'm going to spend a lot of time outside, like what do people do for reapplying? And I kind of didn't really get an answer. So someone did recommend getting a setting spray with an SPF. I brought this with. This is the setting spray that I've been using on days when I'm going to be outside. I don't always put it on right away. For this I will. It kind of depends on where I'm going. But let me put this on. I do recommend though spraying this. A lot of times I won't spray it in my house. I'll spray it when I'm like heading out to my car, because it is sunscreen. Like you can smell the sunscreen in it. And so I don't always like spraying it in my house. But for today we'll just spray a little bit and be done with it. Okay, don't breathe it in. That's why I was like taking a minute. But what I really liked this for is reapplying. So I will take this with and put this in my bag, and then kind of after it's been like 3 hours, because they recommend reapplying every 2, after it's been about the 3-hour mark, I will just spray this on again. And I wore this, I did this whole face look, wore it in Vegas. I was outside every day. I was there, you know, pretty much got there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Tuesday, was outside Tuesday night, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and all Saturday morning. Probably not all Saturday morning, but that was 4 days outside. Did not get burnt, didn't really get any color. The only time I did was when I really wasn't wearing anything, which was kind of my own fault. I have now worn this for different events since I've been back home, different things. We've been outside. I've gone, you know, hiking and used this and a mixture of the other products. A lot of times when I don't really want to wear makeup, I will wear this and then I'll bring this for reapplying. I haven't had any issues with getting burnt, so honestly, I think that this is really good. So I would definitely repurchase this again from Ulta. It does smell like sunscreen. It does leave more of a matte finish, which is another reason why I've been wearing a little bit more highlight with it, because together these are both matte. I don't know if they have a non-matte spray, and I think this was only like $15 too, so it was pretty inexpensive, and I haven't noticed any breakouts with it or anything like that. This is dermatologist tested, is supposed to be water resistant for up to 80 minutes. And it is free of parabens and sulfates. I don't think Ulta's brand is cruelty free, so bear that in mind. So this is my makeup look. This is what I've been doing in the summer. When I am going to be outside, this is what's ended up on my face pretty much all the time. I hope you enjoy. I hope this helps you figure out some good SPF summer products, some things you can kind of put together, some looks you can create with this as well. And I hope you come back next time. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can catch any other videos that I post, or all the other videos that I post. Have a great day. Bye.